and they call Tommy Oliver, who is the Green Power Ranger, and he's not there. And I literally looked at my mom, who's sitting next to me, and I told her, I told that to my mom, and then we leave here.
Do you watch any other sports podcasts like The Pivot or I Am Athlete or anything like that? They give a whole lot of insight, like a whole lot on how the draft process works. Like Jalen Ramsey was talking about his your favorite player in the world. Jalen Ramsey was talking about his process and what he went through during the draft and all that. And it kind of makes you step back and think about what really happens for athletes. Because when I started playing for Alabama State, I didn't know being a student athlete took that much, not just dedication, not just work ethic, but it took that much resilience.
Yeah.
It took to what everybody else is doing. And no, you can still have a good time after the season's over, but during the season, bro, physically, mentally, you're drained. You're
Hemmed up.
hemmed up, bro. Like if you got a girl or something like that, not gonna be a good time. Bro, it's bad, bro. And so knowing that and like connecting that to what these other players are doing, even though I think the combine is still mad weird, man. You got dudes out there half naked running around. It's mad weird. But outside of that, it's stressing where you're gonna be. Like you don't know where you're gonna live. It's gonna be one of 32 places. That's crazy.
Yeah, but the whole half naked men running around seems like
Don't do this.
no, I ain't gonna do it. But yeah, man, the combine is strange because they literally hire private investigators to like dig into your personal life because they're making an investment essentially on you as a player.
But
So
why? Have you heard some of the questions?
I haven't heard the questions. I've heard some weird ones. I've forgotten them by now, but I've heard a few weird ones. I just don't remember exactly what they were. But yeah, they literally hire private investigators sometimes to like dig into your personal life just to make sure there's no surprises. Just because they're making a multi-million-dollar investment and they want to do their homework, which I get that. But yeah, like you said, the combine it's a wild time.
It's weird. I don't want to get into the history of it, but it's just weird to me. Every time I enjoy watching the combine. You love to see the skills that players have and how much they can bench. Like it's dope in theory, but me thinking about going through it is kind of weird, bro. At the same time, man, when I was listening to that interview on Jalen Ramsey, I was really sitting there thinking he had like 4 or 5 different teams in his head that he would be okay with going to. And I'm sitting back listening like, bro, all fandom aside, because I am a huge Colts fan, would I really want to go to Indianapolis? Like, if I'm a defensive end, like I know you said you'd be a wideout or DB. You said a safety. You'd be a pretty tall safety, bro. Anyway, nah, man. If I'm a defensive end, like I said, I'm listening to Jalen, man. Do I really want to go to Indianapolis? I would be okay with going, but right now, man, I don't know. Out of 32 teams, if I'm a defensive end and I'm coming in as a if I'm a high-end prospect, first rounder, even if I'm going to start, I want to be at a place where I can learn from the best defensive end, like Myles Garrett, like Von Miller, something like that. So that's kind of how I think from a player development standpoint. Like, where can I go where I can learn the quickest? Like, follow Aaron Donald working his hands every single day. Can I get workouts with him? Because at the end of the day, you don't know at any point in your career you can get traded or the team might not want you anymore. And so it's about making yourself the highest value or whatever. But with Jalen Ramsey,
that's like any profession that like you want to go somewhere where someone is successful and they can teach you tools, tricks of the trade, all that kind of stuff.
Whether it be a player, yeah. Mm-hmm. Some guys want to go coattailing. Like some guys just go win somewhere. There's guys that want to go win now, and so they'll want to go to the Bucks or Chiefs or something like that. I mean, winning's great, right? But Jamar Chase going to the Bengals was perfect. They didn't know they were going to be in the Super Bowl. But when the Bengals chose him, I'm like, They just got T. Higgins last year, who showed that he can play in the NFL pretty well. You pick up Jamar Chase, you got Joe Burrow, who's got a connection with him. That's going to be instant success just between them two. Not even about winning games, but I knew that connection was going to happen. And being a star wide receiver in Cincinnati made a lot of sense. So from a defensive end standpoint, it's like, all right, I personally would love to be across from Myles Garrett. That's one of in my opinion, he does not get enough recognition because it's not always on the stat sheets. But he is one of the best pass rushers I've personally ever seen, personally ever studied. I'd put him above Joey Bosa, clearly. I wouldn't even, I mean, I would, I don't think I can learn much from TJ Watt. I know he got Defensive Player of the Year, and people might give me hell for this, but in my opinion, outside of his spin move and the fact that he's a free rusher, I don't know what makes him so great. He literally has the freedom to roam around and just, it's rare that he's coming off the line. Does that make sense? Like, it's rare that he's lining up with the tackle. He's usually coming in from the edge or something like that and just playing off the ball. So I don't want to get into criticizing him. I still think he's an amazing player, but I don't know. Just listening to that Jalen Ramsey thing was great. But anyway, outside of that,
the Saints signed Andy Dalton, bro.
And you felt the need to tell me that.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for ruining everything.
Yep. Watch out, man. The Red Rifle back in the saddle again.
Red Rifle. Speaking of the Saints, they Malcolm Jenkins retired. And when I got the news, I was like, wow, I didn't know he was still playing because he is old. So there was that with the Saints. I don't think I thought it.
His rookie year was the year they won the Super Bowl in 2009. So he's been playing for some time.
Yeah. I mean, at safety, that's a pretty good career, though.
Oh, yeah. It's still some time at safety.
Yeah. 13 years, that's a long time.
At any skill position, anything over 10 years.
Right. Exactly.
Quarterbacks, you can usually elite quarterbacks can usually stretch out a little bit longer just because they're not like running and cutting, every single play their whole career.
Yeah.
But
and they got all these rules to protect them.
Right. But any career over 10 years for a skill position player, it's pretty solid.
Yeah. Bro, speaking of the NFL, did you see the rule change for overtime?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They finally, we've complained about this for years, but they finally changed it. And it pisses me off that Josh Allen had to lose for them to change it. Just like years ago when the Rams went to the Super Bowl with Jared Goff, which was a mistake. And the Saints lost because of the PI or whatever that they couldn't challenge. They wait until something happens in the NFL that's so tragic for them to change their minds about something. I really don't understand that. Where the NBA is like, hey, we don't like this. And everybody's like, all right, well, we'll change it. But in the NFL, it's like something so tragic has to happen for them to actually pay attention to why we think the rule that they had was dumb.
Because folks on kickoff returns was getting this shit scrambled. Bro. Them dudes, 220 plus, running 4.4s. Eesh.
Bro, scrambled is one of the funniest words.
That's the only verb I can describe what happens to their brains.
But I think after this week we'll be able to know who's going to be who in the East, in the West, in the NBA, and we will do a bracket. I kind of want to see if we can do it live. If I can like share my screen, we'll figure it out. But I kind of want to do like a live bracket, and we actually like put in and kind of do our little bet on it and do something on the show for the people watching. By the time that we get there, we can do a point system because we're going to be wrong about something, right? But I kind of want to do an NBA bracket, and I don't want the excuse. I don't want the excuse that you haven't watched.
That's fine. My personal vendettas they'll be my driving force in the teams that I choose, and that's just going to be what it is.
Yeah, I like that, man. So we'll do that. Not much update outside of Boston losing to the Heat without Robert Williams, so it's not real. Everybody calm down. Robert Williams is set to be back in less than 6 weeks, which
Let me tell
if
you how much I don't watch basketball, bro. Let me stop you right there. I don't know who that is.
it's the center for the Celtics, bro. I'm going to talk about the Celtics. So you'll get to know them as we do the show. But Robert Williams is not a household name yet. He's just a really good defensive-minded athletic center for the Celtics. You won't know his name until he wins an award. I don't necessarily see that happening. I love the guy. He came out of Texas A&M, and I knew they got the right guy. He was just hurt his first couple of years, so that's probably why he didn't know his name. So back to Robert Williams, his meniscus tear. He had the surgery yesterday morning, and so he's due back in 4 to 6 weeks, which would put him right back in the second round. So if it is like it is now, where the Heat are first in the East, Celtics are second. If both of them make it past the first round, the Heat and Celtics will see each other again. And brother, we will need Robert Williams. I'm gonna just put it like that. So outside of that, I don't have anything else on the basketball side other than the Memphis Grizzlies continue to win without Morant.
Explain to me why the Heat are worth a damn.
They play good team basketball.
Okay, I haven't watched the game, haven't kept up with it. I know they have Jimmy Butler.
Yeah,
that's it. That's all I know they have. And Tyler
They play good team basketball. In my opinion, people overvalue the Heat every single year. They do. The Heat are not a bad ball club. I'm not saying that, but I just think that it's a lot of hype, and they can do a really good job in the regular season. When it comes down to the playoffs, it's about shot makers, and the Heat don't have that. Jimmy Butler has made a couple of shots, but I'm saying big time clutch shot makers down the line. The bigger the teams, the bigger they perform. Jimmy Butler did it in the bubble against the sorry Lakers. I think the Heat were better than the Lakers that year, but the Lakers just ended up, Bron and AD just ended up taking over. So nothing against Jimmy Butler, but I don't think he's the guy that everybody praises him to be, man. So
speaking of the Lakers, they got touched on by the Mavericks.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're currently in 11th place in the West.
In a rude way, but the Spurs also lost. So the Lakers have a chance for the play-in, but I think they should just not play in. I think we've seen enough, man. I think we've seen enough.
It's dirty ball. It's dirty basketball.
They're optimistic about Anthony Davis. It's just not going to work. They got to – I don't know. They got all these big names in the offseason, and everybody's on crutches now. So
I think I said it to you back when last season they started getting all these veterans. I was like, bro, they're old, they're washed.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, nah, man, veterans, they know how to win. I was like, that's fine. I respect that. Veterans do know how to win, but veterans are also old and they get hurt. And then the veterans that you got, if they're healthy, they're solid, but they're not going to win you a championship just because they know how to play the game of basketball.
Russell Westbrook, the day he joined the Lakers, is equivalent to the Great Depression and the stock market crash of the Japanese. He was very high value. He was doing a lot of stuff that led to nothing ever outside of the MVP or whatever. But the moment he joined the Lakers, it's like, oh, he actually is not that good. And he's in his own head, clearly. I don't want to take anything from him. He feeds his family. You know, I get that. But I brought that up because, Carmelo's older. Trevor Ariza's older. LeBron is clearly not older. I don't know what he's made of. Vibranium or something. But Anthony Davis has always been hurt his whole career. He's never had an 82-game season his whole career. That is pretty sad. And so I did not expect Russell Westbrook to play as bad as he is with the ball in his hands as much as it is. That, to me, is not the only reason the Lakers suck. I think they have a bad coach in Frank Vogel. I thought he should have been fired the first quarter of the season, but they kept him. I asked for that he be fired by midseason, by the All-Star. They still
Wasn't
kept.
Frank Vogel the coach at the Cavs for a while?
No, he might have been, but he coached at the Orlando Magic, and they
Well, he
haven't
sucks.
done anything
He
ever.
sucks. Yeah, whenever they announced the Russell Westbrook acquisition, I was like, oh, he needs the ball in his hand too much to play with the team around him is too good for him to be handling the ball as much as he has to handle the ball to get the
Yeah,
numbers he's used to getting.
I mean, you do that for the Thunder and the Wizards, who are never going anywhere. It looks impressive, but when we're really talking about competition and performing, I mean, you can look at them in the finals with KD back when KD was with the Thunder against Miami. He just disappears, man. So I don't want to get too far into that, man. I think that something you talked about earlier was a dope segment when it came to when you're a kid. What are some of the dumb things you believed in, man? So I don't want to kick it off. I want to hear what you got to say.
All right, bro. So when I was a child, my family's from the South. And whenever they would say the word jail, they would pronounce it like gel, like you put in your hair or jello. So when somebody raised up the topic of jail, I thought jail was a place where you just went and they just put you in jello. And basically you're in prison, but instead of a cell, you're just in a big ass thing of jello and you're just chilling there.
Bro,
And in my mind, I was like, I wonder if you get to pick what flavor jello. But then I was like, oh, but you're being punished. So they probably give you some nasty ass jello. But that was when I was like really small, like 3 and 4 years old. That's what I thought.
bro, have you ever flicked Jello? Imagine, imagine the other cellmates. They flick you. You just why
Chill out, man.
on
I'm trying
earth
to
would
go.
you think that?
Chill out, man. I'm trying to go to sleep. And they just,
You wouldn't be able to breathe in Jello. You'd literally die.
well, as a 3 or 4 year old, I don't know how air works
Okay.
and lungs.
Okay. Okay. I used to believe that Free Willy was a nice animal. That was one of mine. I did not know that he was a killer whale really meant a killer whale. Like they out here.
Oh yeah, and you see Free Willy, like, oh yeah, they're nice. They don't mean us
Chomp.
any harm,
Chomp.
bro. They will
That
get
was
you
the
out of,
movie.
or they will make you past tense quickly.
Bro, we talk about sharks. Bro, is it orchards? Is that what they're called?
Orcas, yeah, killer whales, orcas, that's the same thing.
Orcas. Yeah, orcas. We talk about sharks, but orcas are literally way more deadly and they're bigger, from what I understand.
I don't know the logistics of how big they are, but they are smarter.
Yeah, that and they've existed for more than a decade.
I mean, they kill sharks, so they are more deadly, I guess.
Yeah.
Because when
You
killer whales run
completely
up, sharks like we gotta. I forgot I left the oven on. I got to get back to get out of the neighborhood because the killer whales are coming to have me.
Bro, the street light comes on underwater. Oh yeah. I gotta get inside because some orcas coming. They on the
Yeah,
way. They finna spin the block.
yeah, buddy.
Another
Um,
video that he said hammerhead sharks have been on Earth for more than a decade.
bro, my
I gotta
boss at
find
work
that
showed me
video.
that, and I gotta
Nah,
watch
man.
that movie. It's called Strange Wilderness. If anybody's wondering, I can't find it on any streaming service, so I might have to just rent it off of like the Apple Store or some shit like that. But that one clip was very funny, and I need to watch it. So
Bro,
one of these days I will, and I'll let you know if it's worth it.
do you know how unrecyclable Free Willy is? Because you have told me that you've shown Luke, your son, Toy Story, Lion King, all these other things.
The
I will
classics.
never, huh?
The classics.
I will never in my life have my children watch Free Willy.
Bro, honestly, I don't think I've ever owned Free Willy. Most of the movies I've seen, like the classics I show my son, I
Mm-hmm.
owned them like on VHS as a kid. I never saw Free Willy. Uh, like they would play it at like daycare and stuff like that. But
Right.
I
It was
never
a
sat
daycare for
there.
me.
Yeah, I never sat there and watched it all the way through. I was like, oh, it's a movie about a killer whale, and I'm good on it. Can't fool me. I see right
Yeah.
through. I see right through your shenanigans. You
That was,
mean me
um,
harm.
that was one of the worst movies ever. I think that Angels in the Outfield was terrible. I think that just looking back, right, in retrospect, I think Angels in the Outfield was terrible. I think that I had one more.
Yeah, one
Indian
second.
in the Cover. Did you ever see that?
Vaguely. I gotta grab Luke and bring him to the bedroom. One second.
Okay. It's not a bad movie. It's just it's not recycled. Like I can't. It's not going to translate to my kids.
There's some movies I saw like as a kid, and I'll scroll past them on Netflix. Like I have no desire to rewatch this with my son.
Ever like Old Yeller. That was extremely inappropriate. Why would I do that? Why would anybody show a kid that?
Nah, bro, not me.
Shout out to my granddad. I cried my eyes out, man. That was a tough one for me. You've never seen it? Bro, I couldn't handle Homeward Bound. Now I would show my kids that, but I'd have to wait until they're emotionally stable. That movie's serious business, man.
That's another movie I never owned. I saw it at school a couple times. Old Yeller also saw it at school, and I heard what it was about. I'm like, I don't have any interest in this, so I'm gonna just draw pictures in my notebook, and y'all watch that, and y'all be sad
That
because
was a tough one.
if I know ahead of time a movie is sad, I don't need it. I don't.
Yeah. Bro, one movie that Q loved that I could not get jiggy with was Beethoven. Like, it's a little fun at first, and then it's like, oh wait, it's just a movie about a fat dog.
That's a good dog.
Okay. You like
I,
dogs, man.
I don't remember the movie really. Like it's another one of the movies I didn't have. I just saw it at daycare at a friend's house or something. But yeah, there's a lot of movies that just don't carry the same value to me that they did when I was a kid. But when you're a kid, you don't know stuff is bad.
Nah, I knew Airbud was bad. Airbud to me was the equivalent to Spy Kids.
Hey, bro.
You know what was funny though? Shout out to Cuban, man. Cuba Gooden Jr. He's out here getting arrested probably right now. Snow Dogs or whatever. It was Snow Dogs, right? That movie
Mm-hmm.
was hilarious, bro.
Where they had Who Let the Dogs Out by the Baja Men on there.
I'm about to be done.
Right, that song used to come on at the skating rink, and kids would go wild.
Every time, every time I hear "Who Let the Dogs Out," I automatically think of the Rugrats movie, which
Yep.
is rough, by the way.
Uh,
That's a tearjerker. Bella has actually watched that. I'm
Luke
starting to
hasn't
think of
seen the
some old
movie yet.
stuff,
The
man.
the show is on Hulu, I
Hulu,
think.
Hulu. Mm-hmm.
We've watched a few episodes of the show. The movie, whew,
It's
they might
rough.
have to they might have to be one he watches with mom, bro.
The movie's on Netflix, I believe. I watched it with Belle. It hit me hard because you know I have a little brother, and what Tommy and Dylan went through, it was rough, man. But that's a classic that I'm willing to recycle. And Bella probably forgot she ever watched it because it was like when she was like 2.5, 3 years old. But she did love watching it. She watched it every day for like a month straight. You know how she rolls. My wife laughed at me for this. I used to think the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers were real.
I thought I was one, bro. Like, what the fuck you
Thank
mean?
you. Like,
I can't wait till I'm old enough to be one because I'm the red one.
the Red Ranger is the reason I aspired to do a backflip. I just wanted to learn how to do a backflip and do it's morphin time.
Bro, whenever in after school care, we would like make believe and play Power Rangers, and somebody would be like, I'm the red one. I'd be like, here's the thing, buddy. There's already a red one, and it's this guy. He's like, "You're not the red one." I'm like, "Oh yeah."
Mm-hmm.
And I would show him why I was the red one. I remember
What were you
vividly,
doing in kindergarten, bro?
bro. I remember vividly grabbing this kid by the back of his shirt, and I would push him forward and have his shirt. I would pull him back to me and turn my elbow in and elbow him dead ass in his spine.
It's not that serious. You could have been the Blue Ranger.
You might as
Don't
well
don't do
spit.
that.
You might as well spit in my face.
Which one was the Blue Ranger?
The nerdy one.
Yes, with the blonde hair.
Yeah, Power Rangers. The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was season 1, and Power Rangers Zeo was season 2, or not season, but the next installment of Power
It's
Rangers.
very yeah.
The guy who played the Green and White Ranger, he came back as the Red Ranger. The guy who played the Red Ranger came back as, I think, the Gold Ranger.
Yeah.
And then everybody had, like, if they weren't like recurring cast members, they had like a cameo or something in that series, except for him.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't having it.
I love the Green Ranger just because my favorite color was green and he looked hard.
Bro.
Him and the White Ranger, it was a lot. It was a lot of game, bro.
Bro, the gold shoulder pads.
It's too much, bro.
Bro,
it was too much. Oh, okay. I'm glad we there because looking back, man, Power Rangers was so god awful. But
bro,
I
watch it.
knew.
I watch it with my son a lot. We almost watched it today.
Where is it? Where can I find it?
Netflix, bro. It's on Netflix.
You know, I'm be on Netflix. I have it, but I only have the subscription for my family because they watch it. I never spend any time on Netflix.
It's on Netflix. The episodes, I've realized as an adult, are very cookie cutter. The same thing happens in every episode.
Yeah, that's right.
They make like a bad guy. The Power Rangers whoop the bad guy's ass, but then
they get big.
Right. And then it's the same. It's copy and paste. But when you're, 5, 6 years old, that's all you want.
No, it was back in 2017, 2016. Did you watch that Power Ranger movie that came out did you like it? Like, where were you on that?
I appreciated it. My mom actually took me and my brothers to see it because my mom's a real one. She even told me, like, "Hey, I'm gonna take y'all to see that Power Rangers movie because I know y'all are some Power Ranger guys."
Shout out to Wendy. That's my lady.
Shout out. But yeah, I watched it, and it could have been done better. Mainly, it could have been better by me being the Red Power Ranger. Would have made it a whole lot better.
I think the way they got their responsibilities was kind of corny. Not the way powers, but the way they got the responsibilities in the cave and all that. I was like, they could have cut that out. Other than that, I thought the movie was freaking awesome. And I couldn't wait until the follow-up, but apparently it didn't get picked up by another studio or the same studio.
Did you see the ending, the end scene where they're calling roll?
Yeah.
And they call Tommy Oliver, who is the Green Power Ranger, and he's not there. And I literally looked at my mom, who's sitting next to me, and I told her I'm about to beat the skin off my knee. I told that to my mom in the movie theater. But
oh my God.
If people hear the podcast and think I'm just talking crazy for the podcast, I'm not. I talk like this to my mother.
It's been probably 6 years since that movie came out. No, 5 years. Something like that.
It came out 2017.
2017. I'm thinking 2017. So 5. I thought it should have got a sequel, a follow-up, something. I thought they had a lot to work with.
Apparently, it didn't make enough at the box office.
I don't see why not, though.
Got my money.
Yeah, I guess they tried to do the same thing Marvel's doing, but it just didn't work. I don't know. I liked it. It's a movie I'd watch. I think it's on one of those platforms, to be honest with you. I just got to check it out. But that's really, like, I'm not joking. I literally thought the Power Rangers were real and I could be one day.
Bro, yeah. I was legitimately like looking forward to getting older so like I could be one.
Mm-hmm.
That was the plan. And at
And
school, I would just throw hands. If in case Zordon was like recruiting Power Rangers, he could see me throwing hands like, oh,
I'm about to be done.
he's about it.
Me, Maine, and Jeremiah used to create an obstacle course in my grandma's backyard. It was like a ninja slash Power Ranger obstacle course, and we would jump off of stuff and like roll. Bro, if I can go back in time and just give it to me,
You just
I,
drive up and put the car in park.
bro, I don't know what we were thinking, but that's how much I believed in it. But you did tell me you had something that you believed in that you was gonna say for the episode, bro.
Bro, when I was a young child, I thought that poop was stored in your butt cheeks.
bro, bro, please explain that. The
But
cheeks was made out.
you know those big ladies who are just built bad and they just got big
No,
asses.
no.
At the store, if we were in line behind them at the store, I would go to the other aisle and pretend to be looking at candy because I was like, she's about to blow, and I don't want to be I don't want to be anywhere near her.
No, no, no,
That's probably the dumbest shit that I believed as a kid.
bro. Oh my God. If anything, whenever I see butts like that, I think of mashed potatoes. I don't think of poo, bro.
I see him like going through the store. Like, they need to get to a bathroom pretty soon.
So, hold on, let's dissect this. In
Let's
your
do it.
mind, you thought that big butts was a buildup of constipation.
Mm-hmm.
They just decided to hold it or couldn't get it out. And at any point, it was like a volcano.
They were like a ticking time bomb, bro.
And on the other end of that, once they got rid of it, it would go back to regular size, like everybody.
Mm-hmm. Like everybody else.
Why does your brain work this way? I worry about you.
I got through school with good grades, but looking back, it's a miracle that I wasn't like studied and they just put a stamp on me that just said mentally challenged,
Yeah. I
R
think
worded.
so creative that it can look negative sometimes. I think you've got the type of brain that can do a lot, but you just decide to be funny with it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's like when supervillains use their powers for evil. That's what I use my brain for. I use it for non-productive things.
Yeah.
If I could like song lyrics from 1992 or just up here and bro, matter of fact, in sixth grade they told us we watched a movie in art class and
Mm-hmm.
she told us we didn't finish it. She said, remember where you're at in this movie and we'll watch it again next week and we'll start where we finished that. I'm almost 30, bro. I remember where we left off at in that movie.
Oh my God.
Right, license plate numbers. I know mine, my wife's, driver's license numbers.
Bro, you're crazy. I remember those I don't think you were failing. There was a class we were taking and you were doing bad. And then it was like 2 weeks left to go in the semester, and you just decided to ace everything out of nowhere.
I don't recall ever doing bad in the class.
I mean, you ended up with a good grade. I think it was eighth grade, something that you weren't. I didn't say you were failing, but you just weren't doing that well. And you decided to just take it seriously for like 3 or 4 weeks. It might have been Miss Freeman's class, bro. Now that I think about it. Because you remember you used to mess up papers on purpose.
No, what it was is in Miss Freeman's class, she told me at the start of the year she would grade for participation, not the actual paper itself. So I would participate, but I would just write. She would want you to read this like poem or whatever and kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Interpret it. And I would just write a story, just a fantasy story, just really off the wall and have nothing to do with the subject, the base subject material. But I participated, and she gave me credit for it for most of the year. And then towards the end of the year, she stopped. And I was like, whoa. This wasn't part of the deal. You can't just like go back on your word and not tell me. Because if you would have told me, I would have taken it serious. But I've been getting by just goofing off all year. And I thought I could keep doing that. And you just try to swap it up on me. But it was Miss Freeman's class because I noticed on my progress report I was getting some zeros on some assignments that I participated in, but not exactly executed.
Man, but when you actually wrote good papers, it was like I would read them like, bro, who are you? It's crazy, man. Another thing as a kid was that my dad was going to come back home. I'm joking, bro. Really, my dad in my life. Man, he's in my life. He's present.
Must be nice.
I used to think, because my parents would tell me we lived in a small house coming out of Midfield. And when they locked the door, I literally thought that they were having fun wrestling. That was...
Bro, what?
We were in a small house. You could hear everything in that house. And they would lock the door and tell us that they were going to wrestle. And I'm like, oh, man, I can't be a part of that.
Make it a tag team match, Dad. Come on.
Okay, let's back up.
You imagine your dad coming out of the bathroom playing interest music.
I don't want to imagine anything. Yeah, Marty?